Commander Liam Turner stood on the edge of the landing platform, looking down at the alien landscape that stretched before him. Kalira 7 was a world unlike any he had seen before. The sky had a soft violet hue, and the forest below shimmered with strange bioluminescent plants that seemed to glow from within. Massive crystal structures jutted from the ground at odd angles, reflecting light in sparkling patterns. It was beautiful, but Liam knew beauty here could hide danger. The Xiphorians, the alien race that lived on this planet, were well known across human space. Males were tall and muscular, with sharp features and glowing eyes that could see in darkness. But it was the females that fascinated and terrified everyone. The females were said to have psychic energy so strong that humans could not approach them without feeling fear, confusion, or even pain. Many had tried to make contact, but none succeeded. Scientists and explorers had come and gone, returning with stories of strange powers and terrifying displays. Yet Liam felt a strange pull to try, even when others warned him not to. He adjusted the strap of his utility pack and took a deep breath. His mission was simple in theory: make contact, observe, and report back. In reality, it was anything but simple. Liam knew he would be stepping into a place where one wrong move could mean disaster. He stepped down from the platform, his boots making soft thuds on the metallic surface. The air was fresh but carried an unusual scent, almost sweet but tinged with something metallic. He inhaled slowly, letting the new atmosphere settle in his lungs. From the edge of the forest, movement caught his eye. The males were watching. Tall, strong, and alert, they stood like sentinels, muscles taut, eyes glowing. They were cautious but not immediately hostile. Their presence alone was enough to make most humans hesitate, but Liam did not step back. He kept his hands visible, relaxed, showing he carried no weapons outside of his standard sidearm. This was not a fight. It was first contact, and then he saw her. One of the females floated above the ground, her form delicate but radiant. She had long, flowing tendrils that shimmered with a soft light, moving as if carried by an invisible current. Her eyes, large and luminous, met his. In that moment, Liam felt the weight of centuries of fear and misunderstanding. He did not flinch. He held her gaze steadily. He knew he could not rush this encounter. He took a few steps forward, slow and deliberate. The female tilted her head slightly, observing him. Other males tensed around her, warning Liam with growls and low hisses. But Liam remained calm. He did not speak. Instead, he used gestures he had learned from studying previous encounters. He moved his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. He placed a hand over his heart and then extended it outward, an invitation rather than a command. The female hesitated. Liam could sense her energy, a subtle but strong pulse that could unsettle any human. It washed over him, but he focused, breathing evenly, grounding himself in the moment. Slowly, she descended closer to the ground, studying him with curiosity. This was progress. Many humans had never even seen a female Xiphorian up close, let alone engaged with one without fear. Hours passed as Liam stayed in the clearing. He did not force interaction, but let her approach him on her own terms. Occasionally, he would extend a hand with a small piece of dried fruit he had brought, placing it on the ground. She watched it for a long moment before taking it with delicate fingers. It was a small victory, but it meant the first step had been taken. He observed the male Xiphorians closely. They moved in patterns, always between him and the female, but they did not attack. It seemed they were testing him, trying to gauge if he could be trusted. Liam remained still, respectful, and aware. He documented every movement, every reaction, mentally noting how the males positioned themselves and how the female responded. This was not just survival. It was learning. Night fell on Kalira 7, and the forest glowed more brightly under the twin moons. Liam set up a small camp, keeping a careful distance from the aliens. The female watched from a distance, hovering above the ground, her glowing tendrils like soft lights in the dark. Liam sat quietly, writing notes in his datapad. He recorded everything: the way the females moved, their subtle gestures, the energy he could feel emanating from them. These were observations that might help future humans understand the Xiphorians. Sleep was difficult. The presence of the females kept his mind alert. Yet he felt no fear. Instead, he felt a strange sense of connection, as if the female sensed his calmness and responded to it. In his dreams, he saw flashes of their world, not as it appeared to the eye, but as it existed in energy and thought. When he awoke, he felt more attuned to their presence, ready to continue his careful approach. The next morning, Liam ventured closer to the settlement. The males watched him, but this time their posture was slightly less tense. He approached a small clearing where several females hovered above crystalline plants, interacting with their environment in ways that were mesmerizing. Liam moved slowly, keeping his gestures open and non-threatening. He placed small objects on the ground, shapes he had made from clay, to communicate peace and curiosity. One female, the same who had first accepted the fruit, moved closer. She examined the shapes and then looked up at Liam. He mimicked the gestures she had used, reaching out slowly. Their hands met briefly, and for the first time, Liam felt a gentle push of energy that was not harmful but like a soft current of thought passing between them. It was a form of communication, subtle but real. Throughout the day, he continued this method, never forcing, always patient. By evening, a few more females hovered near him, curious but cautious. Liam realized that his unique combination of patience, respect, and calm had begun to break the barrier that had kept humans from these females for generations. He could see the males still protective, but even they seemed to recognize his intentions were genuine. As he set up camp again, he thought about what he had achieved. Other humans had come and gone, many leaving in fear or with injuries. Liam had not only survived but had made the first real contact. The night on Kalira 7 was quiet, filled with the soft hum of alien life and the glow of bioluminescent flora. He felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. Tomorrow, he knew, would be another test. He would need to continue building trust slowly, carefully. But for now, he allowed himself a small sense of victory. Liam looked up at the sky, watching the twin moons drift across the violet expanse. He felt a sense of hope. Perhaps humans could finally understand this alien race, not through force or technology, but through patience and empathy. The journey had only just begun, but he was ready to take the next step, one careful move at a time. The next morning, Liam woke to the soft glow of Kalira 7's twin moons fading in the violet sky. He packed his small camp quickly, mindful of the curious eyes that followed him from the forest. The female who had first approached him, Lyria, floated nearby, her form glowing faintly in the morning light. Her presence was calm, but there was a hint of curiosity in her movements. Liam smiled to himself. Progress had been made, but he knew he could not rush it. As he moved toward the settlement, Liam noticed more of the females emerging from the crystalline forest. Their movements were slow and deliberate, like dancers floating above the ground. The males watched closely, their postures tense but not aggressive. Liam kept his hands visible and moved slowly, showing respect for their space. He placed small tokens of goodwill on the ground, smooth stones and simple tools made from local materials. The females examined them with interest while the males remained vigilant. Liam crouched carefully, keeping his eyes level with the females. He gestured toward the forest, then toward himself, trying to communicate his peaceful intentions. Lyria moved closer, tilting her head as she observed his movements. He could feel her energy again, a gentle wave that stirred thoughts in his mind. Unlike the overwhelming energy of others who had tried to approach the females, Liam felt a sense of balance, as if they were cautiously matching his calm. Hours passed, and Liam continued to interact with Lyria and a small group of females that had begun to gather around him. He shared food and water, placing it on the ground for them. The females were cautious at first, testing the offerings before accepting them. Liam stayed patient, never forcing the interaction. Slowly, their trust grew. One by one, they allowed him closer, hovering just a few feet away. While Liam focused on the females, he also studied the males. They moved in careful patterns, always between him and the females, their glowing eyes tracking his every motion. Liam realized that understanding their behavior was as important as gaining the females' trust. He observed how they communicated silently, through body movements and energy pulses. It was a complex system, but Liam noted patterns and tried to mimic them subtly. By mid-afternoon, Liam felt a small breakthrough. Lyria extended a tendril toward him, brushing lightly against his hand. It was a gesture of acceptance, and Liam responded by gently touching her tendril in return. The other females watched closely, some approaching as well, testing the boundaries. Liam maintained his calm, mindful of the males' reactions. The protective males shifted but did not attack. This was a moment he would remember, a silent acknowledgement that trust was beginning to form. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, Liam sat with the females around him. They hovered close enough that he could feel the gentle hum of their energy. He used simple drawings in the dirt to communicate, illustrating ideas and showing peaceful intentions. The females studied the symbols, occasionally touching them with glowing fingers as if understanding the meaning. Liam realized that communication did not always need words. Patience, respect, and careful gestures could bridge worlds. Suddenly, a sharp movement caught Liam's attention. A male Zephyrian, larger and more aggressive than the others, stepped forward. His eyes glowed intensely and his muscles tensed. Liam froze for a moment, sensing the surge of protective energy. He knew he had to remain calm. Slowly, he raised his hands, palms outward, showing he meant no harm. The male growled softly, a deep rumble that shook the ground but did not advance. Liam's steady presence seemed to slow the aggression. Lyria floated between them, her glowing form a barrier of calm energy. The standoff lasted several minutes. Liam did not move hastily. He maintained eye contact, staying grounded in his own calm. Eventually, the male relaxed slightly, stepping back but keeping a watchful gaze. Liam exhaled quietly. He had survived the test. It was a reminder that trust was fragile and could be challenged at any moment, but he also knew that patience and respect could prevail. That evening, Liam set up camp once more, closer to the settlement but maintaining a respectful distance. The females hovered nearby, their soft glow lighting the area. Liam recorded his observations carefully. He noted the interactions, the energy signals, and the protective patterns of the males. Every detail could help future humans understand this complex race. He wrote about Lyria's gestures, the way she tested his patience, and the subtle signs of approval from the other females. Night on Kalira 7 was different from anywhere Liam had experienced. The air shimmered with soft light, and the forest emitted a gentle hum. The females floated silently, occasionally brushing past him as if testing the boundaries of trust. Liam felt a deep sense of connection. He realized that the females were not dangerous to those who approached with respect. It was fear and misunderstanding that had caused past failures. Here, he was learning the true nature of the Zyphorians. As the days passed, Liam's interactions grew more confident. He could approach the females more closely, sharing simple gestures and tokens of goodwill. He discovered small routines in their behavior, moments when they were most receptive to interaction. Lyria became a guide of sorts, showing him subtle ways to communicate and build trust. Other females began to mimic her acceptance, slowly forming a small circle of curious observers around him. One afternoon, Liam noticed that the males were less tense. They still guarded the females, but their movements were smoother, less aggressive. He realized that his consistent calmness and respect had begun to influence the group. It was a remarkable change. Humans had always struggled to interact with the Zyphorians, but Liam's approach was proving that patience and understanding could succeed where force and fear had failed. Liam spent long hours documenting behavior, creating simple maps of movement patterns and noting the reactions of males and females alike. He took care to avoid any sudden movements or gestures that could be misinterpreted. Slowly, the settlement seemed to accept his presence. Females would hover closer, sometimes brushing his hand lightly with their tendrils. Liam reciprocated gently, never forcing contact. Each small interaction was a victory, a step closer to building real trust. He also began to notice subtle differences in the energy of each female. Some were curious but cautious, while others were playful and more willing to interact. Lyria remained a central figure, guiding Liam through these interactions with grace. Her patience and observation helped him navigate the delicate social structure of the Zyphorian females. Liam understood that one wrong move could undo days of progress, so he remained vigilant and mindful of every gesture. As the second week on Kalira 7 came to an end, Liam felt a sense of achievement. He had survived tests from the males, gained the cautious trust of the females, and learned patterns of behavior that could help future humans interact safely. The night was quiet, filled with soft glows and gentle hums from the forest. Liam sat near the females, feeling the calm energy that surrounded them. He knew that the journey was far from over, but the foundation had been laid. Liam looked up at the twin moons, reflecting on the progress made. The females had accepted him in small ways, testing his patience and observing his intentions. The males had acknowledged his presence without aggression. It was a fragile balance, but it was the first real success in human contact with the Xiphorian females. Tomorrow he would continue, building trust one careful step at a time, deepening the bond that could bridge two very different worlds. As days passed, Liam Turner became more familiar with the rhythms of Kalira 7. He had learned to read subtle signals from the Xiphorians, observing their body language and energy flows. Every movement, every gesture carried meaning. The females, especially Lyria, seemed to test him constantly, gauging whether he could remain calm and respectful in their presence. Liam accepted this challenge with patience, knowing that trust would take time. Each morning, Liam approached the settlement with care. He carried small offerings, fruits he had grown from Kalira 7's soil and crafted objects made from crystal fragments he found nearby. The females examined these gifts curiously, some hovering close enough to touch them while the males kept a careful watch. Liam did not rush. He knew that patience was the key to breaking barriers. His calmness seemed to resonate with the females, and slowly, they began to hover closer to him. Lyria remained the central figure of his interaction. She floated gracefully, her tendrils shimmering softly, observing his gestures and mimicking his calm movements. Liam had learned to mirror her motions gently, creating a silent rhythm of understanding. He noticed that when he maintained a steady and calm energy, the females responded positively. Their fear and suspicion lessened, and small moments of connection became possible. One afternoon, while exploring a shallow stream near the settlement, Liam noticed that several females followed him. They moved with curiosity, watching as he examined the water and the small creatures within it. Liam extended his hand toward one of the smaller water creatures, showing no fear. A female floated closer, her tendril brushing against his hand as if to understand his intentions. This gesture was subtle but meaningful, a sign of growing trust. Liam smiled and continued, careful not to break the fragile bond he had begun to form. Over time, Liam realized that the females communicated not only through gestures, but also through subtle energy pulses. He could sense slight shifts in their presence, indicating moods or intentions. He practiced responding with equal calmness and respect, creating a form of dialogue that did not require words. The females began to respond in ways that were almost playful, floating in intricate patterns around him, testing his attention and focus. Liam observed each motion, learning their meanings, and carefully mirrored them when appropriate. The males remained vigilant, circling the edges of the group. They were strong, intimidating, and protective. Liam understood that any sudden movements could provoke a negative response. He moved deliberately, never approaching too closely, too quickly, and always keeping his gestures open and non-threatening. Over time, even the males seemed to recognize that he was not a threat. Some would relax slightly, lowering their aggressive posture when they saw him interact respectfully with the females. During one of these days, a new challenge appeared. A particularly strong male, larger than the others, approached Liam aggressively. Its eyes glowed intensely, and Liam felt a surge of psychic energy that could unsettle most humans. He did not panic. Instead, he slowed his movements, kept his hands visible, and focused on maintaining calm. The male lunged forward, and Liam responded by grounding himself, using his awareness to absorb the energy without reacting in fear. Slowly, the male hesitated, circling around him unsure. Lyria floated between them, creating a protective barrier. Liam remained still, allowing the situation to stabilize. Eventually, the male backed away, a small victory for patience and understanding. Each night, Liam recorded his observations in his data pad. He documented the interactions, the subtle signs of trust, and the ways the females communicated energy and movement. He noted patterns in the male's protective behavior and in the female's gestures of curiosity and playfulness. These records were invaluable, providing insight into a society that had long been a mystery to humans. Liam realized that this knowledge could be the key to peaceful and meaningful contact. One morning, Liam noticed that Lyria and several other females were waiting for him at the edge of the settlement. They hovered closer than ever before, watching his approach with anticipation. Liam offered small tokens again, placing them carefully on the ground. The females examined them, and for the first time, Liam felt a clear response of approval. They allowed him to move closer, hovering within a few feet, and even extended their tendrils to make gentle contact with his hands. The connection was subtle but real. a sign that trust had grown stronger. The males still remained nearby, but their posture had softened. They no longer blocked Liam's movements outright, but maintained a cautious distance. Liam understood that his consistent calmness and respect had influenced the group. It was a breakthrough in human-alien relations. By demonstrating patience and empathy, he had shown that humans could engage without fear or aggression. Liam also discovered that the females had individual personalities and preferences. Some were more playful, hovering and moving in intricate patterns around him, testing his focus and patience. Others were more reserved, observing quietly but responding to gestures of goodwill. Lyria was patient and observant, guiding the others in their interactions. Liam learned to adjust his approach for each female, respecting their boundaries while building connections. During one afternoon, a small crisis occurred. A female wandered too close to a crystalline outcrop, her tendrils brushing against sharp edges. Liam moved quickly but carefully, guiding her away without causing alarm. The female responded positively, floating closer and brushing a tendril gently against his hand. The males observed silently, acknowledging his actions. This incident reinforced the importance of patience, awareness, and respect in his interactions. Over the following days, Liam continued to build trust with the females. He spent hours observing them, learning their routines and practicing gestures and energy exchanges. Small moments of play and interaction became common, such as hovering together in patterns or exchanging simple objects. The females responded with curiosity and gentle energy pulses, indicating growing comfort. Liam realized that true understanding required more than observation. It required empathy, patience, and the willingness to adapt. As the weeks passed, the bond between Liam and the females strengthened. They began to respond to his presence with anticipation, floating closer and initiating gentle contact. Lyria remained central, guiding interactions and signaling approval to the others. The males, once tense and aggressive, seemed to acknowledge Liam's role and presence, allowing him more freedom while maintaining protective vigilance. One evening, Liam observed a remarkable display. The females moved together in a coordinated pattern, forming a glowing circle around him. Their tendrils touched lightly, creating a gentle energy field that resonated with his own calm presence. Liam understood this as a form of acceptance, a silent acknowledgement that he was trusted and welcomed. It was a moment of profound connection, one that transcended language and culture. As night fell, Liam reflected on his journey. He had faced fear, aggression, and uncertainty, yet his patience and respect had forged connections where others had failed. The females had accepted him, showing trust and curiosity, and the males had acknowledged his presence without hostility. Liam realized that this was more than survival. It was a breakthrough in understanding a complex and mysterious race. He sat near the hovering females, feeling the gentle energy surrounding him. He knew that the bond was fragile and required constant care, but it was a start. The future of human interaction with the Xiphorians depended on patience, empathy, and respect. Liam had proven that one human could succeed where many had failed, building bridges between worlds with understanding rather than force. As he looked at the glowing forest and the violet sky, Liam felt a sense of hope. The females had accepted him in subtle but meaningful ways, and the males had begun to recognize his intentions. Tomorrow would bring new challenges and opportunities, but Liam was ready. He had learned the value of patience, the power of empathy, and the importance of respect in a world that had long been closed to humans. The journey continued, one careful step at a time toward deeper understanding and connection. The weeks on Kalira 7 passed slowly but steadily. Liam Turner had grown used to the soft glow of the forests and the gentle hum of the crystals. He had developed routines with the Xiphorian females, particularly with Lyria, who had become his guide in understanding their energy and gestures. The males, though still protective, no longer viewed him as a threat. Every day brought new lessons and new challenges. One morning, Liam decided to venture closer to the central part of the settlement. He wanted to observe the interactions among the Xiphorian females more closely. Lyria hovered near him, her soft glow comforting and reassuring. A small group of females followed, their curiosity evident in the gentle pulses of energy they emitted. The males circled at the edge, alert but non-aggressive. Liam moved slowly, carefully keeping his gestures open and respectful. As he reached a cluster of crystalline structures, Liam noticed a female in distress. Her tendrils were caught between two sharp crystals and she struggled to free herself. Without hesitation, Liam approached, keeping his movements calm and deliberate. The protective males stepped forward, eyes glowing with caution. Lyria floated beside him, signaling that it was safe to assist. Liam carefully untangled the tendrils, ensuring no sudden movements that could trigger aggression. Once freed, the female hovered near him, gently brushing a tendril against his hand in gratitude. Liam smiled, feeling the growing trust between them. Over the next few days, Liam continued to build connections. He began to understand subtle social structures among the females, noticing how they communicated through energy pulses and movements. Some were more playful, weaving in intricate patterns around him, while others were reserved, observing quietly. Liam adapted to each, respecting their personalities and boundaries. Lyria remained central, guiding interactions and signaling when it was safe to approach. One afternoon, a challenge arose. A particularly strong male approached, moving with intention and emitting a protective energy that could unsettle even the calmest human. Liam stood still, keeping his hands visible and maintaining steady breathing. The male circled him, eyes glowing intensely. Liam sensed the surge of psychic energy, feeling its push against his mind. He grounded himself, focusing on calm and measured responses. Slowly, the male paused, assessing Liam's demeanor. Lyria positioned herself between them, her energy a stabilizing force. Liam remained patient, allowing the situation to de-escalate naturally. The male eventually stepped back and Liam exhaled in quiet relief. The encounter reinforced the importance of patience, understanding, and steady presence. As days turned into weeks, Liam's interactions with the females became more natural. He could approach them with gentle gestures, share small tokens, and even participate in their movements. The females responded with subtle energy pulses, hovering patterns, and light touches. Liam documented everything, recording behaviors, reactions, and communication patterns. He noted how the males adjusted their protective behavior, gradually allowing closer interaction. The trust that had begun to form was growing stronger. One morning, Liam noticed a shift in the group. Several females hovered closer than ever, and Lyria extended a tendril toward him in a gesture that felt like an invitation. Liam responded with a gentle touch, careful not to overwhelm her. The other females followed suit, approaching cautiously but with curiosity. It was a moment of breakthrough, showing that the bonds of trust were deepening. Liam understood that these interactions were fragile and required continued respect and care. During another day of observation, Liam discovered that the females communicated emotions through patterns in their energy pulses. Some pulses were quick and playful, others slow and calm. He practiced responding appropriately, adjusting his energy and movements to match theirs. Lyria guided him, subtly signaling when he was doing well. The other females responded in kind, forming small circles around him, hovering gently and initiating brief touches. Liam realized that he was learning a language of energy and gestures, one that required attention, patience, and empathy. One evening, as the twin moons cast violet light across the crystalline forest, a sudden disturbance occurred. A group of males approached aggressively, reacting to a perceived threat. Liam remained calm, grounding himself in patience and steady breathing. He observed their energy, noticing fluctuations that indicated tension and caution. Lyria positioned herself between him and the males, signaling that he should remain still. Using the techniques he had learned, Liam projected calm energy and gentle gestures, demonstrating non-aggression. Slowly, the male's posture relaxed and the threat passed. Liam felt a deep sense of accomplishment, knowing that his calm presence had prevented conflict. In the following days, Liam focused on strengthening the connections with the females. He learned to mirror their movements, share small tokens, and respond to subtle cues in their energy. Lyria continued to guide him, helping him navigate the social dynamics of the group. The other females became more confident, approaching him more closely and initiating gentle interactions. Liam's consistent patience and respect were breaking down barriers that had stood for generations. One afternoon, a particularly curious female hovered close to him, extending a tendril that gently touched his arm. Liam responded with a slow, careful touch of his own, feeling a subtle exchange of energy. The males observed silently, some shifting their positions but not interfering. This moment marked a significant step in building trust and understanding. Liam realized that true connection required not only patience but also empathy and awareness of subtle cues. As the sun set, Liam sat near the hovering females, reflecting on the progress made. He had survived tests of patience, navigated aggressive energy, and gained the cautious trust of the Xiphorian females. The males had acknowledged his presence without hostility, allowing closer interactions. Liam understood that these bonds were fragile and required ongoing care, but the foundation for meaningful connection had been laid. That night, Liam recorded his observations in detail. He wrote about the energy exchanges, gestures, and behaviors that indicated trust and curiosity. He noted the patterns of male protection and female interaction, creating a guide for future humans seeking contact with the Xiphorians. Each observation was a piece of a larger puzzle, revealing a complex society that had long been misunderstood. Over the following weeks, Liam's presence became a familiar and accepted part of the settlement. The females hovered near him regularly, initiating gentle contact and responding to his gestures. Lyria remained his guide, teaching him subtle signs of approval and caution. The males maintained a protective distance, but their aggression had lessened significantly. Liam realized that his patience, respect, and calmness had transformed his interactions into a foundation of trust. One evening, the females performed a coordinated display of hovering patterns around him. Their tendrils created soft arcs of light, forming a glowing circle. Liam felt a deep connection, a silent acknowledgement of acceptance. The males observed quietly, their protective instincts still present but tempered by recognition of Liam's respect and care. This display was a symbol of trust, showing that the barriers of fear and misunderstanding could be overcome. As Liam prepared for the night, he felt a sense of hope and purpose. The journey had not been easy, but the bonds he had formed with the Xiphorian females demonstrated that empathy, patience, and respect could bridge worlds. He knew that future challenges would arise, but he was ready to face them, guided by the trust he had built and the understanding he had gained. Each day was a step forward, a deeper connection, and a proof that one human could succeed where many had failed. The days on Kalira 7 had become routine yet extraordinary for Liam Turner. He had grown deeply accustomed to the violet skies, the glowing forests, and most importantly, the Xiphorian females. His bond with Lyria had strengthened to the point that they could communicate in subtle gestures and energy pulses. The other females had also grown accustomed to his presence, hovering close, testing boundaries, and slowly accepting him as part of their world. Liam's patience and empathy had built a bridge that many thought impossible. Each morning, Liam ventured into the settlement with careful steps. The females would float near him, their tendrils brushing lightly in greetings. Lyria led the way, guiding the others and signaling safety. Liam carried simple offerings, placing them on the crystalline ground as gestures of goodwill. The females examined each item, their energy pulses revealing curiosity and appreciation. The males remained nearby, protective but less aggressive, recognizing Liam's non-threatening presence. One afternoon, Liam explored deeper into the crystalline forest. Lyria and a small group of females followed him, their movements graceful and synchronized. Liam observed the subtle cues in their energy, learning when it was safe to move closer and when to hold back. He discovered small clearings where the females would hover together, communicating silently through energy and movement. Liam mimicked their gestures carefully, building rapport and understanding. Each successful interaction strengthened trust and deepened the connection. During one exploration, a sudden threat emerged. A strong male moved aggressively toward the group, emitting a forceful energy that could unsettle most humans. Liam stayed calm, grounding himself and maintaining steady breathing. He observed the male's energy, responding with patience and non-threatening gestures. Lyria positioned herself between Liam and the male, signaling safety. Slowly, the male assessed the situation and stepped back, acknowledging Liam's calm presence. This incident reinforced the importance of understanding and respect in interacting with the Xiphorians. Over the next few days, Liam worked to strengthen bonds with the other females. He learned their individual personalities and preferences, adjusting his gestures and energy to match each one. Some were playful, initiating hovering patterns and gentle touches, while others were reserved, observing quietly, but responding to subtle signs of trust. Liam respected these differences, understanding that connection required patience and attention to detail. Lyria continued to guide him, signaling approval and caution as needed. One evening, as the twin moons cast their soft violet light over the forest, the females performed a coordinated display around Liam. Their tendrils created arcs of glowing energy, forming patterns that seemed like a silent language. Liam responded by mirroring their movements gently, feeling the subtle exchange of trust and curiosity. The males watched silently, their protective instincts present but restrained. Liam realized this was a profound moment of acceptance, proof that he had become a trusted presence in the settlement. In the following days, Liam's interactions grew more natural. He could approach the females with confidence, sharing simple gestures, small gifts, and gentle touches. The females responded positively, hovering close and initiating playful interactions. Lyria remained central, guiding both Liam and the other females in subtle exchanges of energy and communication. Liam documented everything, recording patterns, reactions, and social structures for future humans. His observations revealed a complex society built on trust, patience, and mutual understanding. One afternoon, Liam discovered a new way to connect. He created small patterns in the dirt, illustrating ideas and intentions. The females observed these symbols, touching them with their glowing tendrils and responding with energy pulses that seemed like acknowledgement and understanding. Liam realized that communication could go beyond gestures and energy, incorporating simple visual symbols. This breakthrough expanded their interactions, allowing more complex exchanges of ideas and emotions. As the weeks progressed, Liam felt a deep sense of belonging. The females had accepted him, initiating contact and hovering in his presence. The males had acknowledged his role, maintaining protection without aggression. Liam understood that his patience, empathy, and consistent respect had transformed the relationships, creating trust where fear and misunderstanding once ruled. He had become a bridge between humans and the Xiphorians, proving that one individual could succeed where many had failed. One morning, a small crisis occurred when a female became entangled in crystalline growths. Liam moved carefully, approaching with calm gestures. The protective males tensed, but Lyria positioned herself as a guide. Liam untangled the female gently, ensuring no sudden movements. Once free, she hovered near him, brushing a tendril softly against his hand in gratitude. The other females observed and responded with energy pulses, signaling approval. Liam noted the event in his records, understanding that such interactions strengthened bonds and demonstrated mutual care. As night fell, Liam reflected on his journey. The path had been challenging, filled with moments of tension and uncertainty, yet the rewards were extraordinary. He had gained the trust of the Xiphorian females, learned their subtle language of energy and gestures, and navigated the protective instincts of the males. The settlement had become a place of connection, understanding, and mutual respect. One evening, the females performed another coordinated display. Their tendrils created a soft, glowing circle around Liam, moving in patterns that radiated energy and trust. Liam mirrored the movements gently, feeling a profound sense of harmony and acceptance. The males observed silently, their presence a quiet acknowledgement of the bond Liam had built. This display marked a culmination of weeks of patient effort, a visible symbol of trust and connection. In the final days of his mission, Liam continued to strengthen relationships. He shared gestures, energy exchanges, and simple gifts, deepening bonds with each female individually and collectively. Lyria remained a guiding presence, teaching him subtle signs and helping interpret the complex energy communications. Liam realized that understanding required more than observation. It required empathy, patience, and genuine respect. As his time on Kalira 7 drew to a close, Liam knew that the foundations of trust he had built would endure. The females had accepted him, the males had acknowledged his presence without hostility, and he had gained invaluable knowledge of Xiphorian behavior, communication, and social structures. Liam had proven that humans could succeed where many had failed, bridging worlds through patience and understanding rather than force. On his last night, Liam sat among the hovering females, feeling their gentle energy surround him. The twin moons bathed the forest in soft violet light. Lyria hovered closest, her tendrils brushing lightly against his hand, a final gesture of trust and connection. The other females hovered nearby, responding with gentle pulses of energy. Liam smiled, reflecting on the extraordinary journey that had brought him to this moment. When he finally prepared to depart, Liam knew that his work would not be forgotten. The trust and understanding he had built were lasting, proof that empathy, patience, and respect could overcome fear and misunderstanding. Humanity had finally made a real connection with the Zephyrians, and Liam's example would guide future explorers and diplomats. He had achieved what many thought impossible, showing that one human could make a profound difference in bridging two very different worlds. As the transport ship lifted off from the crystalline ground, Liam looked down at the settlement, the hovering females, and the glowing forests of Kalira 7. He felt a deep sense of accomplishment, knowing that he had left a legacy of trust and understanding. The Zephyrians had accepted him, and in doing so had opened the door to a future where humans and aliens could connect in ways previously thought impossible. Liam Turner had not only survived, but had succeeded in building bonds that would last for generations, proving the power of patience, empathy, and courage in the face of the unknown.